Hi everyone, thanks for joining us here on the 501st episode of Rochester Press Box. Begin our second block, celebrated 500 last week. It's a lot of fun. Good to have you guys back. Tariq.
Only 499 more to go to 1,000.
Yeah, they're already planning the show. It's very
know.
What are the Vegas odds on us reaching 1,000?
I'm going to be honest. I think it's low getting to 504.
Okay. Well, with that vote of confidence, I was going to say you look good in gold. I'm not feeling it now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I love this sweater. It's Sabres draft last weekend, development camp this weekend. It's the official Adidas Sabres practice jersey that they were wearing on the ice this weekend. All the young guys coming, trying to show
this is
team.
really, I guess, from the last couple episodes that, we're on the cusp of being it's a good time to be a local hockey fan.
100%, without question. Yes, I'm very excited.
Do you wait till they throw it on the floor to pick it up? Because that's fresh. That's fresh and new.
I've been hanging around enough where they hand it to me now and tell me to get out of their face.
Hanging around. You know what that
They
means?
know.
That means stalker. That's what it is.
Hey, the All-Star game is this weekend, Tariq. I'm just going to three things, like home run derby, the All-Star game, or neither.
Home run derby, All-Star game. I think it's interesting. They need something else on a Monday because I look forward to the home run derby the most. It probably gets a
Isn't
huge
the celebrity
rating.
softball game?
I love the celebrity softball game.
For the humor of the celebrity softball game, I actually think they should have some sort of futures game in there. I really do think they should play a real game, not just players and fans and all these other different things that they do for these celebrity games. Wouldn't you like to see a rookie that's pretty hot, or maybe a hot player at the AAA level coming up with all the prospects, showing the future of baseball, seeing what it's like to be a part of an All-Star weekend? I know it's the same thing as what they do for the NBA and the futures game, but I'd like to see some sort of baseball on Monday other than the home run derby, which, can be terrible if it goes that way.
It's a great idea. It's so great, in fact, that they actually do it.
I was going to say, I thought I was losing my mind.
Where do they see that? I don't know. Do they even show it?
They hide it on TV, but that does take. I know.
But let me ask the question. Why would you do that? You're trying to bring in young players. You're trying to bring in youth to the game.
Well, there's no name identification on most of the guys. I think the biggest problem is that nobody knows these guys are.
But the thing is that you use social media where young people are to push these kids. I don't understand. You mean this game actually exists and nobody knows they play it?
I think that's great. So which of the three?
I'm a home run derby guy because that's the most American of all the things, right? Like the All-Star game is fun, but if you're not a diehard baseball fan, once you get to like the fifth inning, you start not recognizing who people are anymore. Look, Major League Baseball needs this home run derby, and it goes to what Tariq just brought up, having no idea that there was a futures game happening. How does Major League Baseball not do a better job marketing their stars in this home run derby? Because they're all stars, right? They're all legitimate stars that are going to go back to their clubs and play a second half of baseball. You're going to get eyes from people that don't even like baseball in this home run derby traditionally. Not only is it exciting, but you have nothing else sports-wise going on. Every year I watch the home run derby, and every year I am amazed that they aren't putting together packages, 5-minute long packages to air throughout the whole thing about what makes these guys unique, why I should like them. It's something the NFL does every week with different players on ESPN, CBS, ABC, places like that.
It is the greatest way to market these players that you don't get to see on a regular basis. The All-Star game works because you get to see a Shohei Ohtani, who really, if you're on the East Coast, you never get to see because of the fact that his game started literally 11 o'clock at night. So I love the game itself, but to Duffy's point and why we have to make sure that the home run derby is big, what if it's a big bat that is terrible, like Mike Piazza was? Like it to me, the failure home run of this is what draws me in.
And yet, with all of that, the storyline is going to wind up being, and as good as this one is, because they got a lot of great players, including Albert Pujols, is that Aaron Judge won't commit to doing it.
Well, yeah, but that's another problem. That's who you need right now. He is the biggest name in baseball. There are people, again, that don't know baseball who know Aaron Judge, not only because how he's performing this season, but because of the drama going on with the Yankees and his contract. Am I the only one? Everyone's like, oh, Pujols is the homer. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Are we doing the home run derby 7 years ago? I mean, is that a rude thing to say? I mean, I like
holding on to the past. He brings up my point. I get it. You have these guys, the nostalgia, all that good stuff, but you got to push the future of the game.
And I got to be the voice of the old guy because of those three. I take the third option. I don't like the whole All-Star game at all because I like a baseball game every night.
Okay.
And they take 4 days off, and it's like, come on, get this thing over with.
4 days? 4 days? I can find something to do for 4 days.
Well, you can watch the Futures game now.
Yeah, I know. It's on tape
If you
delay.
can find it. We're at the Rochester Press Box talking Buffalo Bills next. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. We're in the old Oakland A's colors. The gold and the green go great together, I must say.
They call me the Raleigh Fingers of radio.
Oh, they do.
They do, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can see that. Hey, this segment, the Buffalo Bill segment, is brought to you by Ralph Honda for 3 generations, celebrating over 50 years. As New York's first and oldest Honda dealer, visit Ralph Honda today and find out how we do Honda right at ralphhonda.com. You know what really bothers me, is the Buffalo Bills are looking for something to complain about, is that Von Miller has been going around talking about how there were teams that he would have played for less than he signed with the Bills. That's not a great look, starting for a new team, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun. As a Bills fan, I'm not enjoying, because look, everybody has bought into this family idea, and there's really nothing to buy into, right? Like, Sean McDermott has this family thread throughout this whole team. These guys like each other. They want to be together. They're going on the field and playing for each other. I think it's only strange to us right now what Von Miller is doing, because we haven't had that in Western New York in 3 years. Like, if he would have done this 5 years ago, I don't think Bills fans, okay, great, he's here. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, it's business, right? Like, you are in Western New York still. As great as this team is, Von Miller still is going to have to live in Buffalo from September until, ideally, the beginning of March, right? Like, I don't love it, but I don't think it bothers me.
This is a backdrop to the story. He said, I would really have liked to have stayed with the Rams. I would have played for the Dallas Cowboys for less money than I signed for, and he was pining about his days with the Denver Broncos. I said, I don't want to hear that.
Doesn't bother him. Bothers me. I'm not too happy with this. And hopefully this will be over with really soon. Here's the thing. One thing I'll say about this, going back to the Rams is going to be hard. You're up there in age. They don't have a lot of space for a lot of money, so it wasn't going to happen. The Cowboys, you were going to go to the Cowboys.
But that's his home. It's where he's from.
Yeah, I get it, but you know full well the Cowboys are in disarray. If Dak Prescott does not have an impressive year, they're nowhere near a championship. The Bills are. The Bills are in a very good spot to look great this season upcoming. He can develop this talent, the defense. He doesn't have to do it all. You know full well your defensive line is very good. The best place for him was for the Bills. Let it go. I don't want to hear about any other team you could have went to. You're here in Western New York. Let that go.
Yeah, I don't want to think he's a fourth choice.
But here's the thing. He's got his rings, right? Like, you bring up the Bills are on the cusp of the Super Bowl. Sure, I'm sure a Super Bowl is great. It's not going to be career defining for him. Let's be real. All he had left to do was either play close to home to be near family, which was Dallas, go back to a place he was familiar with, which was either Denver or Los Angeles, or take all the money he can get, which is what Buffalo ended up being. It's business. We love these teams, but in the end, it's a business. I'm okay with it. It sucks, but what are you going to do?
But it's business. Then keep it to yourself. Then don't say I wanted to go back to Dallas. I want to go to Denver. Just go play for where you're going to play. Do what you can do. And who doesn't want another ring to add their legacy?
But here's what you're forgetting, right? Like, Von Miller, he's not a businessman. He's a businessman, right? Like, he understands that he has to keep his legacy fantastic in Denver. He has to keep his legacy nice and shiny in Los Angeles. Of course, this guy is going to go say these things in microphones when he's in these places. I'm fine with it. Let him play politics.
So what do we expect of him? He's in a situation in his career where when Denver sent him to L.A., everyone looks at that as saying, well, he's near the end. Denver doesn't want him anymore. What are the expectations, do you think?
Look, I mean, I would love for Von Miller to break out and have a fantastic next couple of seasons. That would be great. Double-digit sacks, dominating people. I'm more interested in what he's doing for the opposite side of the defensive line. Your young guys. Greg Rousseau had flashes last year, but you didn't have anything coming off the other side with, Addison and Jerry Hughes. A.J. Epinesa is at a critical season this year at a defensive end. All I need him to do is get home a couple of times this season and provide space for Rousseau and Epinesa to show what they can actually do. Boogie Basham, by the way, too. You know how you get your defensive line moving? Put a little boogie in it.
I love the fact that not only he gave that line, but the fact that I didn't laugh at it. The other end of it, too, the fact that he's able to help. I think he knows where his role is this year. If you're able to bring these kids along, able to accept that challenge when you're going to work, if this is business, then you don't want to be home. You don't want to be in a comfortable spot. You want to be in a place where you're going to work and maybe teach these young players how to play. If he is going to do that, if it's Von Miller saying, I got to get Von Miller numbers and all these other different things, then it's a different argument. But if it's a Von Miller, it's like, let's see if we can get some of these guys to play at a certain level, go get another championship, maybe build something in the next 3 years, then that contract is very much worth it.
To hire another coach, he'd be cheaper.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well,
Our Buffalo Bills segment brought to you by Ralph Honda, like it or not, is next. Here's the Press Box Trivia question brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
have I got a great getaway for you and the whole family. It's inexpensive and nearby. Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy. Look for the Getaway Guy on Facebook. The Getaway Guy on Facebook. It's a great road trip just for you.
Here's the Press Box Trivia answer, brought to you by Market View Liquor, where exceptional customer service meets an extensive selection. Jefferson Road at 390.
Are you facing criminal charges from a DWI and feel that you never imagined it could happen to you? Contact attorneys with years of experience as prosecutors and defenders. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today for a free consultation. You can put your trust in us.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here on the Rochester Press Box, our Like It or Not segment, brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law, attorneys with years of experience defending the accused. Don't go unprepared. Contact Ganguly Brothers Law today. Tariq, like it or not? Jeez, I can't believe I'm really asking this. The NBA Summer League.
I actually do like it. You get your young drafted players on the court immediately. There's no wait. You get to see what you got, understand what your team and your roster is. And with that goes the trades that have been going on, or potential trades in the NBA. Keeps the news alive, keeps the game alive. I don't know about anybody else. They used to be boring where they would just be game after game in some locker room or some
quiet gym, in Orlando.
Somewhere, you know what I mean, where nobody could go and see the games. Now they put it in arenas. They put it, I believe it's in Vegas now.
There's one in Vegas, there's one in Los Angeles.
And so you're able to sort of watch it. They hype it up. They bring these guys in. They're hustling hard. D-League is doing extremely well. It's just fun to watch. I'm sitting there in the middle of the day watching these teams play.
They're finding their way onto TV, too.
Yeah.
And look, I got frustrated last week because I saw on Twitter they were happening, and I couldn't find where they were on TV. They didn't start until a week later on ESPN. I think what's genius about this with the NBA, there's so much hype for the NBA draft, especially this year, not knowing who was going to go first overall. You immediately get to see these guys on the court play after they're drafted. Where with the NFL, you got to wait 6-7 months before you see these guys on the field.
And a couple of guys who've already been drafted, maybe spent some time in the league last year or 2 years ago, are playing in these games. So they're getting more time to really show their skills and get ready for the upcoming season. I love it. It's like a futures game that already exists in Major League Baseball.
For 22 years.
I know, right? And nobody, who knew it right now? Admit to yourself you had no idea that was going on.
I thought I was crazy. You sound like, wait, I know I've watched this game before.
I have never in my life seen a futures game. Didn't even know it existed. Where did they put it?
Well, look, attached to the summer league stuff of the NBA, and like it or not, the way the NBA has learned to kind of make their sport a year-round thing.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Look, you said something off camera. They've turned it into the NFL, essentially, right? They are learning from the NFL, where you roll from season into championship, right into the draft, right into free agency, right into summer league. And look, everybody knows whether the basketball is good or bad, there is always going to be drama in the offseason. Look what's going on with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Like, this should be time right now where we're ramping up an NFL training camp. Normally that dominates your sports cycles. I mean, it's a week and a half old story, and you still have Durant and Irving leading the news every night.
Tariq, last quick thing, like it or not, what the Vegas has the Boston Celtics currently listed as the favorite to win the next NBA title.
Nope. Because you still have to wait for the dust to settle a little bit. There's a lot of moving parts here, and I'm not sure what Miami wants. They want Durant, they're not quite sure. I'm not quite sure yet what the Warriors are going to do after coming off their championship. Who knows what the Lakers are doing? I have no clue what's going on there. Phoenix still is unsettled with what's going on with Andre Ayton. There's just too many moving parts yet. Okay, you want to go great season for the Boston Celtics. I know great. Malcolm Brogdon was a great pickup for them. I'm not quite sure yet. Let the dust settle a little bit during free agency.
Brogdon, Gallinari, they're deep. They're super deep.
Now is now, You got to do something. And when those guys move, we'll check back on this one. Our Like It or Not segment was brought to you by Ganguly Brothers Law. Unfinished Business is next.
The Press Box Stat of the Week is being brought to you by McArdle's Restaurant in Fairport. McArdle's is open 7 days a week with dining available indoors and out, takeout and delivery. Come home to McArdle's.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Unfinished Business is brought to you by Greg the Roofer. Greg will meet or beat any competitor's price and can finance you with 0 down. Call today or visit gregtheroofer.com. Better roof, better price. Better call Greg today.
Welcome back, and again, thanks for joining us here in the Rochester Press Box. Time for Unfinished Business. Pat starts us.
As I wear my Sabres practice sweater that they were wearing at development camp over the weekend, let's talk about that right now. If you're unfamiliar with how hockey works, after the NHL draft, NHL franchises will put together a camp that brings in the draft picks from the last couple of years, along with a couple of undrafted free agents, to scrimmage, play each other for a couple of days, and on Saturday, all the fans got to go in and watch. I don't understand why other leagues don't do this more. The NBA kind of touches on it with the summer league we just talked about. I mean, minor league baseball exists, but not in the way that it used to. Why don't we have mini camps expanded for the NFL the way that the NHL does this? Because it's really hard to miss on anybody that knows how to play the game of hockey when you have every NHL franchise bringing 50 to 60 guys in to work out, right? Like, that's 32 teams, times 50 or 60, and that's not including the guys that are already playing in the league. Guys like Kurt Warner exist. Every once in a while, you'll see an NFL player that comes out of nowhere, explodes onto the scene. You go, where did this guy come from? If the NFL has one problem, it's that they don't have deep enough talent pools or ways to find those deep enough talent pools. And if I was running the NFL, why am I not doing scrimmage games with guys that probably won't make my roster in June? Because I'm watching that every time it's on television.
Look what name, image, and likeness has already done to the NBA. There was a discussion earlier on this week by the NBA commissioner as to whether or not to lower the age for NBA players to come in at 18. Now, that has to be collectively bargained, which he quickly put in as an argument, but why wouldn't it be? I mean, you've got all this name, image, and likeness going on now with college basketball. Why not just take a player straight from high school into the NBA? It's been done before successfully and disastrously, I must say. But there's developmental leagues now for these players that if they're not ready for the NBA, they can go to multiple tiers, play in 2 to 3 summer leagues, and get ready to be an NBA player. The opportunity for these young players at 18 to go out there and become professionals is more prevalent than it's ever been before. At the college level, they're just trying to keep kids, get them in there, maybe keep them for 2 years, and then they're gone. But if they can skip and go to the pros and possibly go do what they love as quickly as possible, why not?
It's the most exciting play in baseball, and also it's most freakish. It requires a bad bounce or a defensive misplay that doesn't qualify as an error. It's the inside the park home run. Josh Smith, the Texas Rangers, hit one last week. What distinguished it was that it was Smith's first major league home run. He became just the third Ranger to accomplish that feat. You wouldn't know the other two names. Smith was one of 4 prospects of the New York Yankees sent to Texas in the Joey Gallo deal last year. Gallo was himself involved in a freakish play last week, lifting a fly ball to right field that Boston's Christian Arroyo, in a moment of absolute panic, lost in the twilight sky. Gallo's own attempt for an inside-the-park home run fell short when he was thrown out at the plate. Baseball's most memorable moments tend to happen totally at random. You can't plan on them. On June 12, 2010, I found myself in the left field grandstand at Fenway Park for a Red Sox game against the Philadelphia Phillies. Daniel Nava made his major league debut. I'd never heard of the guy. But that day, Nava produced one of those moments. In the bottom of the second inning of that game, Daniel came to bat with the bases loaded. And following the advice of a broadcaster, Joe Castiglione, who had told him to swing hard at the first pitch because it's the only first pitch you'll ever see, hit a grand slam off Joe Blanton. Nava was only the 4th player in baseball history to hit a bases-loaded home run in his first career game, and just the second to do it on the first pitch he saw. Nava wound up with a pedestrian 8-year career, 29 career home runs, and he played in 5 games in the 2013 World Series for Boston. But he is immortalized for one of those moments that you couldn't possibly plan for. And I was lucky enough to be there. That's our Unfinished Business, and that is our program. Number 501 in the books, Tariq.
Ready to go. Now, what are you going to do during the All-Star break?
I'll watch the game because there's a lot of history to it. I'm a big history guy. Something might happen, you'll remember.
Well, okay.
You know.
All right.
Man, you know how to sell a game.
Yeah, that's really pushing it.
Something might happen. You should watch it. Whatever.
I recommend we both watch the Futures game. How about that?
Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week with the Rochester Press Box.